Allow me to get a quick rant in before I try to do some actual work today. After I just chickened out of braiding my own hair because I did one braid and decided, no, I can't. I'm not. Don't have the energy. Um, just a thought I've been having. I used to be the understanding black friend. Um, and if you don't know what that is, at least in this context, the understanding black friend. This in my younger days. The understanding black friend is the one that, even though they are black and going through the experiences of being black, are willing to listen to the woes of their white friends, um, mostly the woes of dealing with navigating a world where you can't just say anything anymore. Gotta worry about saying something racist. I gotta, I have to deal with being, called privileged. And I worked hard for my shit, and people just assume I'm racist because I'm white, and this isn't just white woes. And in my younger days, I was like, also because, I was in the Air Force, and so it was a very white environment anyway. And so I try not to be too hard on myself because being the understanding black friend is also, I feel, a survival technique because we are trained from the early days to not upset white people. And when you're in a place like the Air Force or the Air Force Academy where almost everybody is white, you're really just doing what you have to be agreeable and survive and not draw attention to yourself or negative attention to yourself. So you're gonna sit there and be like, yeah, I understand. And then another part of you is like, oh, everybody needs an ear to listen to every once in a while. Like, white people have feelings too, which they do. But the problem with being the understanding black friend is that you give these motherfuckers an inch and they will take a fucking mile. What do I mean by that? I mean that once you are the understanding black friend once, just one time, guess what? You're the understanding black friend all the time. You're the one they come to about all their white person woes. And it gives them some sort of satisfaction to be able to say this to another black person, to a black person, and that black person, spit back to them like, yeah, I understand, I'm trying to have empathy for what you're feeling. Like they feel validated, feel better about themselves because another black person across a black person across from them is seemingly agreeing with them or listening to what they have to say. They feel validated, and so they come to you over and over and over and over and over again, and it becomes so emotionally exhausting. And the thing is, the things that they start to complain to you about and the things that they say get progressively worse, progressively more bigoted, progressively more towards the direction of the conversation of, why can't I say the N-word? It's just a word, especially if it's in music. Like, it just starts going on a fucking trajectory in that direction, and it just becomes more and more emotionally exhausted. Not that you should have entertained it from the beginning, but at this point, it's like, I have to still be black in this world, first of all. So I have the trauma of my past, the trauma of my present, the trauma of my future and my future children having to worry about what they're going to go through. So I'm processing my past. I'm trying to live in this future. All of the emotional baggage that comes with being a black person in this country, nay, the world. So I have to shoulder that and your fucking white guilt and your fucking emotional baggage of being specifically of being white, of which these complaints literally are fucking insults to me, who has to be black in this world. You think that it's hard for you to not be able to say the N-word? How the fuck hard do you think it is for me to be called the N-word, you dumb motherfucker? How dare you? How fucking dare you? And so you get to this point where you realize you have taken it way too far. You've allowed them to go way too far. Because now you're exhausted with way more luggage than you should ever have had to handle in the first place. And having experiences like that makes you just want to cut off and just not even entertain these complaints at all. Like if you're coming to me with it, you need to take it somewhere else. Take it somewhere else. I'm sure there's another white person out there that you can complain to. Yes, your feelings are valid. 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 Like, my Spanish accent. Yes, your feelings are fucking valid. Everyone's feelings are fucking valid. But maybe don't take them to me. I don't need to hear them. Take them to a therapist. Take them to another white person that's going through the struggle or whatever the fuck, you know. Like, take it there. It is not appropriate to take it to me. It's not appropriate to take it to another black person. I would not take heterosexual woes to a homosexual / whatever LGBTQ person and be like, it's so hard to be straight because everyone demonizes you. It's so hard to be straight because you gotta worry about saying something homophobic. It's so hard. I'm like, wow. Yeah, it's so hard to worry about is what I'm saying transphobic. I'm like, whew, wow, if it's hard, if it's hard to avoid saying something transphobic, imagine how hard it is for, trans people to try and keep from being killed. Like, wow, I would never fucking do that. It's the same vein. It's in the same vein of thought. Why the fuck would you complain about the quite mild difficulties that you have from being higher up on the social ladder, unfortunately, higher up on the social ladder in any way, to someone that is below you and actually experiencing the prejudice and the dangers of being at that socioeconomic status or that social status? Why the fuck would you do that? That's so inconsiderate and disrespectful and inappropriate. So I'm not the understanding black friend anymore. I have white friends. Some of my best friends are white. But there are also people that I know I wouldn't catch complaining to me about that shit. No way. No way. And I think I did it because, and I did it in the past because I'm like, I want to be a good friend, You just want to be a good friend. But I'm done being understanding at the detriment of my own mental health. That's just not an option anymore. I am not going to be your emotional dumpster. For things that I literally should not have to carry. Emotional dumpster for things that, I don't, no, just no. I am not going to be your dumpster for that shit. So, if you're a black person watching this, and you're the understanding black friend, and you're feeling drained, I just want to give you a look into your future, because you're going to get a lot more tired. It's probably best to break that shit off, instantly. Or just keep your distance. You don't have to, go full charging in. You can just, drift back. Just don't answer. Whatever. If you're a white person, don't fucking do that. Don't fucking do that to your fucking black friends, minority friends, whatever, but especially black friends. It's not that we don't want to be good friends to you. Actually, it's because we want to be good friends to you that maybe we will entertain it for a little bit. But then you're shitty for taking advantage of our position as your friend and our want to be a good friend. So we're going to hear you out maybe 1, maybe 2 times, maybe not, maybe more. Don't fucking take advantage of that because we're already dealing with enough. And you fucking know that. We're dealing with enough. We're dealing with rewriting enough self-hate and generational curses and, white supremacy washing. We're doing enough of that work as adults right now. If you are an adult, and if you're not an adult yet, you just have that much more of your life to go to be doing that stuff. Don't do that. It's inappropriate. Completely inappropriate. Talk to your therapist. Talk to another white person. And please leave it there. Please leave it there. Because those of us that were understanding before, we're kind of fucking sick and tired of it. And we're taking the reins back on our mental health, and realizing like how traumatic some, like, a lot of Black experiences can be, like really recognizing that as trauma, because people, like, modern psychology doesn't really like therapists don't really like identify that as trauma, you know. So we're processing that. We've got a lot of work to do. We're doing a lot of work already. Like, we've been doing a lot of mental work since we were young, worrying about what our hair looks like, worrying about what we dress like, worrying about what our voice sounds like, worrying about if we sound too hood in the office, you know, all this shit. We've already been doing so much fucking work that you can't possibly fucking fathom. You will never understand. So just fucking don't. This might be the first time that you have to do even close to the amount of mental gymnastics that we've had to do our entire life. So please spare us. What a time for a helicopter to come by. Spare us. It's inappropriate.